Hello and welcome to my sketchbook tour. This book is a moleskin A4 size, and I started this in Paris when I was there for an art residency. It was about a year, it was just before lockdown. And I walked around the streets, had a wonderful time just sketching whatever I saw. This was close to my residency at the Cité des Arts. It was basically opposite the Notre Dame, and really beautiful part of Paris, just near the Seine. So I would just walk around, sit somewhere. It was springtime, beautiful time, and whatever sort of caught my fancy, I would sketch. An attempt at the Jardin de Luxembourg. Sorry, excuse my French, but it is not very good, but absolutely gorgeous gardens. Then I went up to Montmartre, to the Sacré-Cœur, and looked up and sketched there. Early morning. This was the Notre Dame, about, as you can see the date here, so this was 2019. Yes, so this is about 3 weeks before the Notre Dame burnt down, and I was lucky enough to still see it with the little tower over here. And in fact, my apartment was across the river from the Notre Dame. I could actually see it as we went downstairs and looked across the thing, and we actually saw this burning down. It was absolutely tragic. I mean, the people were in tears in the streets. It was an incredible to sort of experience that. This was the Eiffel Tower, sort of looking up, so it looks slightly foreshortened. You can see I like my pen and ink. The Louvre and the beautiful spring blossoms that they had at the time. And here I've been trying out different inks. It's the only thing is they're not waterproof. It's like a pinky color, and I think I bought an orange as well, but using with my fountain pen, but the inks weren't waterproof. It's one of the buildings in Paris. This I actually did a day course with Alex Hilkerts. He lives in Paris. Had a wonderful day there. And of course, in the gardens here, all the fun fairs that the kids can play on. Place d'Italie. And this was a friend that I met. She used to live in South Africa and moved back to France, so this was in her garden. And then she took me to the St. Michael's Mount. Absolutely fantastic experience. We sat here and sketched and then walked across and through the streets there. Really, really wonderful. And this was near the end of my Paris time. You can see that this red ink is not waterproof, but this is the effect that I did actually like. But it's not ideal if you want it to be waterproof. And coming back home to South Africa, proteas from my garden, a bit of an ink sketch first with, first some blobs of just color, and then an ink sketch over the top. So I'd left a blank page there, I see, so I filled it up later. Still a few more of Paris, the Louvre with its pyramid. And on a rainy day, we went inside one of the museums, and I joined Urban Sketches in Paris a few times, which was wonderful. They had great little places that they went to and were very, very welcoming. And back in South Africa, this here is the Muizenberg train station, a beautiful little tower over there. And looking across the bay to Simonstown, that's more or less where I live over there. We had just gone to the Kruger National Park for a week, and these are some of my favorite animals. They're really, really cute, but they can be dangerous. Again, around Muizenberg Station. Bit of a landscape. This is Kalk Bay, also just down the road from me. It has lovely little shops and almost has a Mediterranean type of feel to it. Also still Kalk Bay, and then just great memories of Portugal in the Algarve Faro when I went to visit a friend. And as I have some blank pages, I tend to want to fill up the book at the end, and I use the blank pages just to paint on. So this is again still the Kruger National Park, the little bee eaters. Bit of an abstracty thing also with my pens, a bit of ink. You can see the different colors here in Namibia. And Boulders Beach, this is where I live, where we have the penguins. You see the penguins there? And I go snorkeling here pretty often. Even in winter, the water is actually warmer than in summer. And a friend and I normally go snorkeling there quite a lot. Stellenbosch, lovely little markets, food markets, open air markets. Luckily, that's all getting going again. And a view from one of the wine farms, Libertas Wine Estate. This was just in the garden. Muizenberg again, the beach. This was actually after a rain squall and the sun had just come out, and I was in the car park and I did a quick sketch of the beach while waiting for people. And then Zanzibar. These doors in Zanzibar are just absolutely fantastic. We spent 10 days there just before lockdown in March last year, and it was fantastic. It's just such a beautiful tropical little island, friendly people. Of course, the snorkeling, fishes, coral, everything is absolutely wonderful. And fruit sellers and that on the beach. That one I didn't quite finish. We went to a turtle sanctuary where the fishermen, if they happen to get one of the sea turtles in their nets, they bring it into the sanctuary. They make sure that the turtles heal 100% and then they get released back into the ocean, which is wonderful. And then the best little restaurant I ever went to in my life. In fact, we didn't eat here. We only had dessert here. And you actually have to walk through the water to get there. It's a tiny little island with just the restaurant. Amazing turquoise water everywhere around. And I really enjoyed doing this sort of black and white feel. And then when I'd come home, I tried it at our little Muizenberg. This is St. James beach houses, the little beach dressing rooms. Did a bit of a sketch there. And I continued with the theme of the March lilies flowering up in the nature reserve in Cape Town, in Silvermine Nature Reserve, and one of our house from the bottom of the garden looking up with the mountains in the background. And this was in a nature reserve down the road from us. Well, it's about an hour's drive. Harold Porter, and just quick studies of things that were there. Imhoff Farm. And they have this little tower for the goats to walk on, and coffee shops. This was also during lockdown when I just wanted to do sort of missing traveling, and did something from a photograph, one of my photographs. This one I haven't quite finished yet. I thought I'd come in with pen and ink still. And Kalk Bay Harbour, a day that I had forgotten my watercolour paints. This is also down the road from me. Beautiful little unique fishing harbour. And it had sort of clouds that kept on coming and going. So it was very atmospheric. And then another day that I went back to Kalk Bay Harbour and tried my new little art toolkit palette. And I did one of the fishing boats. And here I'm trying something different. You can see I haven't done this side yet. Just drawing various boxes and see if I can do 2 or 3 drawings a day of anything that's in front of you at the time. Without pencil drawing, just doing shapes. You can see they're wonky and they're not 100%, but it's so good to just get your eye in on these sort of shapes. You know, I find this quite challenging, these handles. And so it's been a really, really great exercise. So this side I haven't done yet. This again is from Muizenberg, looking across the bay. Just with some Posca pen and some gel pens and white Posca pen, black and white. And this was experimenting with brusho, which is like an ink pigment in little bottles, extremely strong, but it comes out in all different colors. It's very exciting to work with. Just don't use it outside plein air because it just blows all over the place. And to finish off with another one of my little drawing blocks. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you've liked it. I've got lots of other sketchbook tours as well as other tutorials. Thanks for watching.